ENFPs are awesome. I should know because I am one. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 signs that you might be an ENFP, the world's most charismatic personality. So before I get into the 5 signs that you might be an ENFP like I am, I first want to share with you just a little bit about my background and why I know what I know about this topic. So aside from the fact that I'm certified in Myers-Briggs and I've done hundreds of workshops, seminars, trainings, testing programs for big corporations, I also am an ENFP, and I discovered that in a very unusual way. So I want to share this story with you because I think it'll help illustrate what I'm going to talk about. So when I started doing Myers-Briggs in the first place and I got certified, I went to one of these certification courses to learn all about it. And to my surprise and delight, the person who was teaching the program in Gainesville, Florida, was the guy who'd written all the major books about Myers-Briggs. His name is Charles Martin, and he was the author of the textbook we were using. So I felt so lucky that I was getting taught by this masterful expert in this field. So this was a 1-week-long program, and in the very beginning, they did our testing, and they gave us our test results. And actually, my test results didn't say that I was an ENFP. My test results said that I was an ENTP. Now, an ENTP is different than an ENFP by that one letter, the T versus F. So I'm going to give you a quick primer on the 4 letters. EI, extroversion, introversion, is the degree to which you get your energy from the outside world, extroversion, or from the inside world, introversion, in a nutshell. Then there's the NS dichotomy. The N's are intuition and the S is sensing. So these are the 2 ways that we see the world, the way we gather data about our world. Some of us gather data by looking at patterns and themes and big picture. Some of us gather data by looking at sensory input, what we see, what we hear, what we touch, what we taste. So these are the 2 primary ways of accessing information. The 3rd letter, which is the one that was off for me, was T versus F. The T types are thinking types, people who make decisions based on logic, based on rationale, black or white, this or that, wrong or right, and they like that decisions be based on rules. The F people, feeling types, tend to make decisions based on feeling, on a feeling of whether something brings the highest value to the most people, making a judgment based on more qualitative standards than quantitative ones like the T's. And then the final letter is the P or the J. P is perceiving, J is judging. And this just means which function do we prefer? Are we someone, the P's, do we prefer the information gathering function? Or J, do we prefer the decision-making function? So that's in a nutshell what these 4 letters mean. And so I typed as an ENTP, extroversion, intuition, thinking, perceiving. Now I did the sessions. I was in the first 2 days of this week-long program, and I was with my ENTP cohort. So Charles Martin, the director of the program, had put us all in these groups so that we could be with others just like us. So I was in a group with ENTPs. Now, ENTPs, the way that they like to work is that they, like the ENFPs, they have a lot of ideas and they're extroverted, so they like to share their ideas. But the difference is they like to make decisions based on facts and based on logical criteria. And so what often happens, and what was happening in that situation, is they were arguing. And they were getting into conflicts, and everybody was putting forth their opinion, and this is how I see it, and this is how it should be, and a lot of that going on. And I was hanging back. I wasn't really fully participating in the conversation because I've never really loved that style of engagement. And so Charles Martin called me over on the 2nd day, towards the end of the 2nd day, and he said, "Hey, Michelle, I have an idea. I think that you're in the wrong group, and I'd like to try you out in another group." And I was like, "Well, you're the expert, whatever you think. Sure, I'll do whatever you tell me. What group do you want me to put me in?" Because I was thinking maybe he thought I was an introvert. instead of an extrovert. I said, do you think I belong with the INTPs? He's like, no. The ENFPs. I was like, the ENFPs? But that doesn't sound like me at all. I'm a math person. I have an MBA. I'm this, I'm that. I had all these ideas and beliefs about who I was. And part of it was based on that ENTP result that I got. And he said, no, I think you're an F, not a T. I think that you have that feeling is dominant. I was like, all right, let's do it. He stopped the class and he announced to the class that he was going to move me from the ENTP group to another group. And so he said, Michelle will be moving now to the ENFP group. And just as he said that, all the people in the ENFP group stood up and cheered and welcomed me. They're like, yay, you're one of us now. Come on, let's go. We're going to have so much fun. And I felt in my body, I was like, oh my gosh, these are my people. I never knew, like, this is who I really am. I felt this feeling of liberation, of finally understanding who I was and where I really belonged. I never felt like I belonged in the ENTP group, but I'd always identified myself as that type of person, the achiever, the inventor, the creator, the entrepreneur. But really who I was deep down was all those things, and I loved people. I loved being the life of the party. And that's sign number one, that you are an ENFP too. If you find yourself often as the center of attention, as the life of the party, you like to have a good time, people are drawn to you. You're drawn to people. You like events and gatherings and social situations. You might be an ENFP too. ENFPs can be loud, but we're generally not aggressive. We're loud because we like to have a good time, we like to have fun, but not because we like to argue. ENFPs generally have lots of friends and lots of acquaintances, a lot of people who know who they are. And when we're out and about, we're generally making new friends everywhere we go. The second thing to pay attention to is that ENFPs, we tend to be very future focused. We see the world as an abundance of possibilities, and generally we like all of the possibilities, more than we could ever really pursue in a lifetime. In particularly, we love to look at possibilities and ideas and ways that people can be served, that people can be helped, that people can be uplifted. We tend to really love humanity and want to do our part to contribute to it. Speaking of contribution, one of the greatest ways that we contribute is through being creative and unconventional. We are not generally the best rule followers, and in fact, we can be rebels. We like to not necessarily follow the rules, but rather create our own rules. People like to say we color outside the lines. And what that also brings with it is the fourth thing. We can often be kind of messy, distracted, a little bit ADD. And we sometimes tend to lose things. And that's probably because we're so busy focusing on all those amazing ideas and possibilities that we want to pursue. We can sometimes be indecisive. That's kind of part of that PJ dichotomy, where the P side. So we create a lot of lists, but we don't always check all the things off of the list. And we often run late to meetings and appointments. The final thing is that we can tend to get bored really easily, especially if something is the same again and again. We like novelty. We like new experiences, new people, new places. And what is new and next is often way more interesting than what is old or established. If this intrigued you or interests you, or you saw yourself in this video, then check out my Monetize Your Magic playbook. This is a free guide for how you can align what you do with who you really are, especially if you're an ENFP like I am. Enjoy.